On Thanksgiving, Mom blocked my daughter at the door. Sorry, this dinner's for real family only. I watched her hand a plate to my sister's child while mine stood quietly beside me. I took my daughter's hand and walked away. That night, I sent the message I'd been saving for months. By dessert, half their guests had already walked out. Don't walk out while I'm talking to you! Mom's voice cut through the kitchen like a blade. Dad slammed his fist on the table. Plates rattled. You think you're better than us now, Noah? I stood there, jacket half-zipped, watching gravy drip off the edge of a serving spoon. My sister Leah crossed her arms. Maybe if you hadn't ruined everything last year, we wouldn't be here. Ruined. That word stung. No one mentioned that I'd been the one paying their bills when Dad lost his job, or that I'd covered Leah's credit mess twice. You think money buys respect? Dad spat. No, I said quietly, but I thought honesty did. Silence stretched. Mom's jaw tightened. Then Leah whispered, just loud enough, You only helped us because you felt guilty. That hit the room like a slap. Guilty of what? I didn't answer, because I already knew what they were about to accuse me of. My name's Noah Larkson, 27, born in Ohio, raised in a house where silence was safer than truth. I was the quiet one, the good son, the one who didn't argue, didn't drink, didn't fight, the one they could always call when something broke, when the bills were due, when they needed help, just until next month. But quiet doesn't mean blind. And tonight, in this same house that smells like burnt turkey and cold wine, I know what they've done. I've known for months. I just didn't say anything, not until they said I ruined everything. Leah, 31, perfect hair, perfect lies, the golden child. She never apologized for anything. Mom, always on Leah's side, always with excuses. She's just emotional, Noah. She doesn't mean it. Dad, a man of rules that never applied to him. He loved control, not family. And me? I was the balance, the quiet weight that kept them from falling apart. Until I found out they'd been using my name, literally, my credit, my signature, my trust, all turned into a weapon. Why would we do that? Leah said when I confronted her last week. You make more money. You'll be fine. And now, watching her smirk over a wine glass, I realized she still thought she could talk her way out. But not this time. Mom tried to calm things down. Let's just sit and eat like a family, Dad muttered. He started it. I laughed once. You started it when you took out that loan under my name. Leah froze. Mom's eyes darted to her plate. I'd seen the bank statements weeks ago. $40,000. My credit. Their signatures forged. I was going to tell you, Leah said, voice shaking. When? I asked. Before or after you bought your fiancé a new car? Her face went pale. Dad barked. Watch your tone, boy. I looked at him calmly. You should have told me before co-signing my life away. The room went quiet. Forks dropped. And that's when I saw Mom's phone light up. A text preview flashing across the screen. He's finally found out. Don't answer him. My chest went cold. Found out what else? Leah's voice trembled. Mom, I told you we should have deleted that message. Dad stood up, chair scraping hard. Enough. He doesn't need to know everything. Everything? I turned slowly. What else? Mom looked at the table. It's complicated. No, I said steady. It's convenient. Dad's face turned red. You're not going to talk to your mother like that. Leah scoffed. You always make yourself the victim. I took a breath. No, I just stopped playing the role you wrote for me. My voice stayed calm, but something in me cracked. The silence they used against me all these years. I was finally handing it back, and for the first time they looked scared. 3 years ago, Dad's factory closed. Mom said we'd get through it together. Together meant I'd cash out my savings to cover their mortgage. Together meant Leah got her new engagement ring while I took extra shifts. Together meant when I asked for help with rent, Mom said, You're a man, figure it out. That was the first time I realized my family didn't want me strong. They wanted me useful. And yet, I still came home every holiday, still brought gifts, still hoped one day they'd see me as more than a wallet. Tonight, watching them panic, I felt something shift. Not anger, not revenge, just the quiet ache of finally understanding my place. I picked up Mom's phone from the table. One message thread was open, between her and a man named Alan W. Dad's face went gray. Leah gasped. Alan Whitner, my father's old business partner, the one who disappeared after the factory shut down. I scrolled. Messages went back years, payments, transfers, and one sentence that burned through me. Use Noah's account. He won't notice, Mom whispered. Please, Noah. I looked at her. You let him steal from me? She broke. It wasn't like that. Dad slammed his hand down. You don't get to judge us. We did what we had to do. No, I said quietly. You did what you wanted to do. I just paid for it. The room exploded. Voices, tears, broken glass. Leah shouted, You were never part of this family anyway. Dad yelled, Get out of my house. Mom cried, Please, don't tell anyone. I stood there, strangely calm. I gave you my silence, I said softly. Tonight, I give you the truth. I opened my phone, hit send, a message, with screenshots, documents, transfers, to every relative, every mutual friend, every contact they'd ever used to brag about their perfect family. The sound of phones buzzing started within seconds. Leah's fiancé called her. She froze. Dad sat down, pale. Mom whispered, What have you done? Just balance the scales, I said. I walked out into the cold night air. The street was quiet except for distant laughter from another home. Inside, they were probably still yelling. For once, it wasn't my problem. Halfway down the driveway, I heard Mom's voice behind me. Noah, wait! I turned. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. I never meant for it to go this far. I nodded once. You just never meant to get caught. Her face crumpled. You're still my son. I know, I said. But that doesn't make you my family anymore. And I kept walking. Months passed. I moved to a small apartment across town, quiet, clean, with no voices echoing through the walls. Some nights I still heard Dad's yelling in my head, or Leah's fake laugh, but it fades faster now. I got a new job, started therapy, learned that forgiveness isn't something you owe people, it's something you do for yourself. A letter came last week, Mom's handwriting. Inside, we sold the house, I'm sorry. I didn't reply, but I placed the letter in a drawer, not out of hate, but peace. Because for the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore. If you were in my place, would you forgive Reet or walk away forever? Every family has secrets. Every silence has a cost. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, because stories like this aren't just mine, they're ours. If you felt Noah's pain, like this video. Share your story below. Subscribe for more real stories about family, silence, and strength. Because sometimes the quiet ones carry the loudest truths.